You need a lifetime ISA. If you don't have one, you could be missing out on thousands of pounds every single year. First of all, the fact that you're watching this tells me a lot about you. So few people have the patience to sit down and really understand these accounts. I know it can be boring to some, but taking the time to really figure out these accounts is the best return on your time you're ever going to get, to the tune of thousands of pounds an hour. Let's start with what a lifetime ISA is. It's an account designed to help people save for their first home or for retirement. The really great thing about this account is that the government will give you an extra 25% on top of whatever you save or invest, up to an extra £1,000 per year. So for example, if you were to invest the maximum £4,000 a year into your LISA, the government would add an extra £1,000. That's a pretty sweet deal if you ask me. Now, unfortunately, there are some rules to be eligible for a lifetime ISA. Firstly, you need to be aged between 18 and 39 years old. Secondly, you have to use the money to either buy your first home or save for retirement to withdraw at 60 years old. If you withdraw the money for any other reason, you will face a penalty of 25% of the amount you withdraw. It doesn't take a genius to realize that will more than likely be more than you put in. So be careful. But if you use the account correctly, you will be able to withdraw it completely tax-free. That's right, no tax to pay to Rishi on the amount you save, including the 25% government bonus. There are two main types of LISAs, or leases, or lifetime ISAs, whatever you want to call them. We have stocks and shares LISAs and cash LISAs. The stocks and shares LISA works in very much the same way as the normal stocks and shares ISA, allowing you to invest in index funds and sometimes individual stocks and get the 25% government bonus on top of wherever you invest, up to the maximum £4,000, obviously. A cash LISA is really just a glorified savings account, with the added benefit of that 25% government bonus. As of the time of making this video, the current highest paying cash LISA is from Moneybox at 3.5%. It is, however, worth noting that this includes a 0.75% 12-month bonus. As for the stocks and shares LISA, this gets quite a bit more complicated, so comment below if you'd like a dedicated video on this. Currently, I have a stocks and shares LISA with Nutmeg. They have slightly higher fees than other LISAs on the market, but I got a £100 cash bonus for making a lifetime ISA via Chase Bank, which helps to counteract any extra fees I might pay, and it was a bit of a no-brainer as someone who just wants to invest and not really think about it. So let's talk numbers. Let's say you open a lifetime ISA at the age of 20. Like me, and you invest the maximum £4,000 per year. If you do this for 20 years, you would have £80,000 invested. And with the 25% government bonus, that's a total of £100,000. But it gets even better. Adding some very conservative growth of just 6% per year in a stocks and shares LISA, and you now have £191,000 in your account. But it gets even crazier. If you were to use this account for retirement, and wait until 60 years old, you would now have £634,000 in the account. And that's without a single deposit after the age of 40. So knowing all of this, how am I going to use my LISA? Well, currently, I'm using my LISA to save for the deposit on my first house, which I plan to buy within the next year or two. After that, I'm going to use my LISA like a pension, but without the downsides of potential tax at withdrawal. This is a very complicated discussion. Pensions are very difficult to figure out, but if you would like a dedicated video explaining how that works, let me know in the comments. When researching how LISAs work, I had a lot of questions come to mind, so I'm going to try and cover any extra questions you might have, and there are a few extra things you should definitely know. The current ISA tax year ends on April 5th, so if you're really quick and you have the money to invest, you could max out your LISA 2 times in a single year. Kind of. You know what I mean. You could jump on it quickly. However, if you're watching this video after that deadline, don't worry. It's all about consistency, and just having a lifetime ISA in the first place already puts you ahead of the large majority of people. You can only use your lifetime ISA to buy a house 12 months after your first deposit. So even if you have no money to invest, you should open an account with £1. That way, when you do come to buying a house, you can put your money in your LISA and then use that government bonus really quickly. The government bonus sadly isn't instant. It's generally paid about once a month. So if you've invested in a LISA and you're wondering where the hell my bonus is, just be patient and it will arrive. You can only contribute to one of each ISA type in a tax year. So for example, if you have a Virgin Money Cash ISA, a Trading 212 Stocks and Shares ISA, and a Nutmeg Lifetime ISA, you can't have multiple of each type. And any amount that you put in these accounts contributes towards your £20,000 a year allowance. So you might find that you're in a situation where you have to cut back on your cash ISA to put more money and max out your lifetime ISA. The £1,000 government bonus also doesn't count towards your £20,000 allowance. So if you've invested £16,000 in other ISAs, you have your $4,000, you can put the full $4,000 and get the government bonus. So it's technically 20. Look, I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Just don't worry, it doesn't count towards the allowance. I know that was a lot, and I'm sure many of you have tons of questions. I know I did when I first learned about these accounts. So please comment below and I will try my best to respond.